afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. John Kelly, profiler here, and welcome. Welcome to part 48 of our very, very sad series, Who Killed Libby German and Abby Williams? Very sad situation and case. I have to bring out that everybody is innocent to proven guilty in a court of law, and that certainly includes Richard Allen, but that's just the way it works, okay? And I want to send our deepest sympathies out to the friends and family of Libby German and Abby Williams. Certainly, they've been through an awful lot, and hopefully, they're going to cope with it over time. Also, I want to thank everybody for purchasing my book, Discovering Lazarus: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of John Kelly. How I kicked a horrible cocaine addiction, became a counselor, a psychotherapist, and a profiler. Thank you all so much for your purchases and for all your kind comments. Also, I want to mention we'll be doing memberships. You'll be hearing more about that. There's going to be some private memberships going on and private groups, with memberships. So we'll keep you posted on that when we have our act together on it. I think you'll find it very educational. And right now, let's get on to Richard Allen. Starting off here, and I would ask you to hang in to the end because we're going to have kind of a bit of a finale in the end that might sum everything up for you guys, okay? So just try and hang in there. This is not a very long vid, I'll tell you that right now. Richard Allen's team dropped a lot of stuff yesterday, and they're blaming, the Odinists for the death of Libby and Abby, and they're saying that this was a revenge killing for one reason or another. I don't know if they're talking about. Some people are talking about somebody snitching. Some people are talking about somebody having one of the parents of the girls having a relationship with a person from a minority. I truly am not clear on that, okay? But they're looking at it as a revenge sacrifice, and that kind of blows my mind a little bit. The question I have is, if these people did decide to kill one of the girls, why would they kill both of the girls if only one of the girls' parents is responsible for whatever? Okay, it's real simple, all right? And, whether it's snitching or minority or whatever else it is, it doesn't make sense to kill two when you only need to kill one, okay? It doesn't take a genius to figure that out, okay? The other problem I have is why risk the murders and the sacrifice in the daytime? Murders and a sacrifice, broad daylight, people around up on the trail. Okay, nobody heard any screaming. That doesn't mean they couldn't have, that one or two of these girls could have been screaming. Okay, so, it's much easier to kill one instead of two, right? Again, little common sense there, okay? If only one is the target because of their parent, then we start to say, why not stalk and kill the girl at night in the darkness instead of in broad daylight in the middle of the day on a trail where there's other people? Why not at night? If somebody wanted to focus in and stalk one of those girls in the evening when it was dark, okay, and it was plenty dark up there, it'd be a lot easier target. Why go through all this trouble and risk in the middle of the day? See, that doesn't make any sense to me. And other people are hiking the trail as well. This just doesn't make any sense. A group of Odinites would come down and do something like this. From what I read, or from what Richard Allen said, is that there are prison guards wearing Odin patches. Well, if they're connected to law enforcement, they're even prison guards around other prisoners. They have a certain amount of sophistication, or have heard stories, I'm sure, about what goes on in a murder, and I'm sure the Odinites would be sophisticated enough and concerned enough to consider taking somebody out. I mean, killing a child. Don't forget, we're talking about child murder here. All right. I mean, they're saying the Odinites are responsible for sacrificing and killing children. All right. I mean, this whole thing is getting pretty crazy as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, there would be some sophistication among the Odinite group if some of them are connected in some way to any way, shape, or form of law enforcement, and especially if they've had a criminal history. I mean, they would know enough not to act out the daytime and to focus on one instead of two, and to take care of it if they were going to do it at nighttime. When it comes to killing, they have some sophistication in that crew. I'm sure there's no doubt about it. I mean, this is somebody, I think, that just couldn't control their urge and impulsiveness. Obviously, it seems Richard's legal team wants to get out the search warrant or get rid of the search warrant. I'm sorry, they want to get out of it, get rid of it, however you want to say it. And I just wonder, of all the damning evidence that they're concerned about that Richard had at his house. I wonder, are there any pictures? Are there any damning pictures there that really are going to land on him in a very, very harsh way when it comes to trial time? So I can understand them trying to pull out any strings they can to, discredit law enforcement and discredit the judge and discredit, the probable cause stuff for the search warrant. I understand that. But still in all, wow. Richard, it's my understanding in the news that you already admitted to killing Abby and Libby. Okay, I don't know how true this is, but it's my understanding from seeing it in various places in the news that you admitted, some say you admitted 3 times already to killing Abby and Libby. And now all of a sudden, we're putting a focus on the Odinites, okay? And, obviously, we do not have any damning proof on them, that they killed these girls, or we would have heard about that probably too yesterday, and Richard also, I'm concerned about Richard's letter, and just bringing it out. I mean, Richard, you wrote a letter, asking the court for help, for a lawyer, and you, in that letter, and asking for a lawyer and saying you couldn't afford an attorney, you never said in that letter one time that you were not guilty. You never said in that letter one time that you did not kill these girls and that you are innocent. I mean, that's pretty strange to me, because I don't know if you realize it or not, but the normal reaction of a person who is having their house invaded by the cops and being arrested for murdering 2 young girls, and if they're innocent, their reaction is going to be, my God, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? I never killed anybody. I never killed these 2 girls. This is insane. This is insane. This is complete nonsense. This is crazy. That's what a normal reaction would be from pretty much a normal person who gets jumped on and gets their house invaded by law enforcement that said they murdered 2 little girls. Okay, that's what a reaction in my experience has been from people who are completely innocent and don't have a clue, and even people who are not completely innocent, okay, and do have a clue, okay, and would at least played a role. I mean, I can't believe in that letter. It's your business, and it's Richard's business. I think we can all agree that, he wrote the letter so you can say what he wants. Doesn't mean he did kill them. Doesn't mean he didn't kill them. Okay, he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And I also understand your defense team saying the FBI profiler said that the killers were involved in Nordic beliefs. I understand that. But I got to tell you something. It's extremely hard for me to believe that somebody from the behavioral science unit down in Quantico is going to come out and say, yes, this is someone with Nordic beliefs and focus strictly on that. That's not how it works. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. They may talk about, well, right now at this point in time, we have to take everything under consideration. Could be this, could be that, could be this over here, over there. I mean, there could be a number of theories, which there always is. And that's why all this brainstorming takes place to go through these theories. But to turn around and to say that the FBI profiler said the killers were involved, or even one profiler said the killers were involved in Nordic beliefs, and that's guaranteed. Okay. I mean, that's hard for me to believe because as a profiler, he would be putting his reputation on the line, and the FBI is extremely, extremely careful with anything at all like that. The Indiana State Police say the FBI never made such a statement, by the way. Yeah, the Indiana State Police say the FBI never made such a statement. So I don't know. I think we've got some problems there with all that stuff that was dumped yesterday to try and get rid of, to try and proclaim your innocence and to try and get rid of the search warrant. I understand why they're doing it, but it's a little much for me to be able to digest. Now, Richard, or the whole team, do you think the Odom crew is so stupid that they would pose the girls in such a way that would lead right back to them? I mean, if you are a Nordic crew and you're out to kill some people and sacrifice them or whatever, you want to get away with the crime, I'm sure, right? I mean, you don't want to have the cops knocking on your door halfway later, putting the cuffs on you and hauling you off to prison, right? So when you would pose the girls, I mean, you would not pose them in a way where it's going to look like at the crime scene that you did the murders, that your Nordic crew did the murders, right? I mean, why would anybody with any brains at all expose themselves like that to the murder of two little girls? We're talking about two children. We're talking about children here. Okay, I get concerned with this and I get mad. I mean, I have all these mixed emotions because it's so ridiculous. The FBI denies the girls were posed in a Nordic sacrificial way, that they said the girls were posed in a Nordic sacrificial way. Okay. They may have said, well, maybe there's a possibility, because at that point in time, I mean, again, you've got a multitude of theories going, all right? You see, what I want to bring out, Richard, and whoever else, may hear about this, they weren't posed, they were staged. Now, as much as you say the FBI came out and said they were posed in a Nordic sacrificial way, okay, and the FBI is denying it, I can tell you for sure, okay, that one FBI agent came out and said that the girls were staged, okay? Now, let me give you the differences between staging and posing so you have a good understanding, okay? Definition from the U.S. Department of Justice. 3 specific motives for posing. Fantasy offenders pose a body to satisfy a perverse sexual fantasy. I'm buying that. that this was definitely a fantasy, a perverse sexual fantasy, and that's why these girls were posed. Retaliation. Offenders pose a body out of anger. That's posing, okay? They're angry, they want retaliation. They're into a fantasy. All makes sense to me. I see it all the time, okay? And I see this too a lot. Staging. See, this is the difference between posing and staging. Staging is the offender puts the body and poses the body to make it appear to be a sex-related murder to mislead the police investigation, or they portrayed any other kind of way to mislead the police investigation. The key words here: to mislead the police's investigation. That's where the staging comes in. Now, the bad news I got for you, Richard, the bad news I got for you is that an FBI agent that surveyed that crime scene and went over that crime scene and who was involved in getting the affidavit for the search warrant of Ron Logan's property said in her affidavit that it was staged. She petitioned the judge for the search warrant of Ron Logan's property based on the reason that she felt it was staged. The crime scene was staged, not posed, but staged. Staged in a certain way to throw off law enforcement and have them looking in a different direction. Like maybe instead of looking at you, looking at the people that they believe or your defense team is proposing committed the sacrificial murder and sacrifice of these girls, the Odinites. So let's point them. Whoever did this wanted to point them at the Odinites, okay, and get them off themselves. So they're not looking at you or anybody else. They're looking at the Odinites. Is that what could possibly have gone on here? Because we have an FBI agent for sure who said in writing, and I think she was an FBI agent for 12 years or more, that she believed that the crime scene was staged, okay? And she said that and put her name on it to get the search warrant for Ron Logan's property and house, all right? So now it's very interesting, you got to understand, a lot of people probably have forgotten about, this affidavit that was used, to get the search warrant for Ron Logan. Well, we didn't. We have a copy. We know what's in it. Okay. We read it. All right. No doubt about it. That was staging. Okay. That was not posing to make it look like the Odinites in some sacrificial kind of situation. That's my opinion only. Okay. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. I could be wrong, but I've been right a hell of a lot more than I've been wrong. Believe me when I tell you. It looks like Ron Logan still has something to say here from the grave. I mean, you have to look at this through my eyes. This is pretty wild, right? What, Ron Logan from the grave is coming back, because of his affidavit that they served on him to diminish the strategy, the defense strategy of focusing and pointing it towards the Odinites. I think it's pretty wild. And as far as all that information that was printed yesterday about all these girls and what happened to them and how horrible, the crime scene was, how horrible, the murders were and everything else. I think right now, as far as we're concerned, anyway, you can just take it. I think it was 166 pages or something. Put it in the shredder. Really. All right. Well, that's my 2 cents for the day. I hope you guys got something out of it. Again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Even Richard, who the cops believe, and my opinion is that he did it as well. But we're going to leave it up to the courts, and we'll see where it goes from here, won't we? Thank you so much for tuning in. Please take care of yourselves. God bless. Remember, we're always watching. All right. We love your comments. Please continue to comment to us. Stay safe out there. It's dangerous. Have a great day. See you next time.